what's the update on the Ferry Hospital then? Because as it stands now, we still owe the contractor that $19 million. Yes. Do we have the money to pay?
I am sure. I know that Honorable Akando, who is minister. Now, let me tell you something. You see, our people on the other side always want to try to paint the picture like the minister is not up to speed. He's not doing what is right. I want to give you 3 things.
Before you go to that,
yes.
Are you still answering the question of whether we have the money to pay the contractor?
I'll get there.
Okay.
I'll get there. Look, this is a minister that has presided over this ministry in just about 17 months. In that same 17 months, there has been you have uncapped the health insurance. In that 17 months, you have had the Ghana Medical Trust Fund. In that 17 months, I'm coming, Bella, I'll get to you.
Okay. Your time is almost up, so Bella, I'm giving you 2 minutes to... No, I'm not saying it's done now. No, I'm checking the time, so don't worry, I'm giving you fair time.
Okay, so I'm saying
you have 2 minutes to wrap up on this.
This is the minister that has started the free primary health care policy. Right? I'm saying a Fire Hospital, money will be found to complete this.
So you have not found the money?
No, I don't think. Look,
you're on the health committee. You should know.
Obviously, the money is not seated there. Look, if they hand over an economy that is in a kwashiorkor state, if you get to take over an economy that's in a kwashiorkor state, obviously you are not going to wake up and be running. Look, Bella, health is run on resources. The resources of this country, the economy of this country, in a way and manner it was handed over to us, cannot be able to solve all the problems at once. But what I'm saying is that it's a priority. And the ministry has said that, look, they are looking to... Look, Bella, don't forget, it's not only the money. There are still some legal issues even with Afari. So all these things have to be sorted out. And I am definitely sure, with the assurance given by the minister that the money will be found, Afari will be completed, so will be completed. Some of the Agenda 1-1 hospitals, as we promised, 10 of them will be completed, will be worked on within as it is in the 2026 budget.
Okay.
And then at the end of the day, Bella, look, we are not saying we are a perfect government. That is not what the NDC is saying. We are not saying that we have solved all the problems of health, of education, of sanitation since we took over government. But we are saying that we have given the clearest indication that we have the good people at heart. We have given the clearest indication that in the not too distant future, all these very critical health facilities will be not just open, but will be operationalized. And we have to get the difference between the two.
Okay.
We don't want to open hospitals where there are no doctors and nurses. We want that at the point we are opening Afari, doctors, nurses, all the equipment, the residents, everything is sorted out. And the good people of Kumasi and Ghana will enjoy that facility.
I mean, with the explanations that both have given, what do you make of this situation? I mean, as far as Ghanaians are concerned, we don't want the politics. We want the hospitals to be operationalized. That's the most important. But we seem to be getting excuses here and there, and it's delaying the project.
I think it's a dire situation, and both the MPP and NDC, I think they have been found culpable. And they should hang their heads in shame. It's unfortunate. If you're going to measure the progress of a country, Osajifo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah gave a clue. He stated that, and I quote, "We shall measure our progress by the improvement in the health of our people, by the number of children in school and the quality of education, availability of water and electricity." Number one was health. As at October 2016, the engineer at Irrigate or whatever, he was on TV. I think it was 22nd October 2016. He said the project is 90% complete. 2016, 90% complete. Dr. Isia Sare said that as at 2024, it was 96 to 97% complete. So from 2016 all the way to 2024, 8 years, you're able to accomplish 7%. And he also added that it will be launched in March. I mean in 2025, I think March, or that is assuming they had come into power. And I'm at a loss as to why we are here now. Because I know that His Excellency President John Dramani Mahama is somebody who is very passionate about health, with Mahama Cares and all that. I mean, no politician is perfect, but I see he has a soft spot for health. So I am really at a loss. I wish we could hear from him personally and not anybody else. I'm at a loss as to why we are here regarding this 500-bed facility, which apparently is going to be the second biggest military hospital in Africa. If you check the records, 37 was not built by us. It was built by it was a 37th military hospital built by the British in 1941. We've done various expansions, and I think the expansion that took longest took just about 6 years. Konfanochi, the original contractors, when they started, it took 2 to 3 years to finish. Same with Kolebu. So that means that the time period is taken to do this Afari Hospital could have built about 4 Kolebus or 4 Komfo Anochis. And yet, as we speak, Ghanaians are dying. Health is number one. What I would want to see tomorrow is, or maybe as soon as possible, a sword cutting ceremony. The hospital is operational, with His Excellency there, backed by the majority and the minority. Of course, I feel that is a primary issue here, healthcare. The secondary issue is the means that the minority used to achieve that end. And I have to say that they should have gone through the appropriate channels, because it's a government institution. Whether it's a military institution or not, you cannot go to a private person's house without permission. You cannot go to a public facility without permission, especially as it's not open to the public. However, some way, somehow, I would say that some way, somehow, their refusal to seek that permission, and as much as it wasn't the best, has managed to bring our attention back to the hospital. And I think maybe I'll say it's a divine orchestration, that they are oversight. Because if they had gone through the normal channels and they had gone there, yes, they may have held a press conference and all that. But with all this that is happening now, everybody's attention is now back on these unfinished projects. It's not only about Afar. There are so many other,
I mean, they talked about Trede as well.
Yes, and when I was listening to the Honorable MP, I think he mentioned how much had been spent on it so far. This is taxpayers' money. Who is going to account for this? Who is going to account for this? We need to sit up as a country. You see, at the moment, we are happy we are going to a World Cup, because that's a time when we are all united as one, putting aside our political colors. When it comes to healthcare also, when it comes to these projects, let's put aside our political colors and then move the nation forward. Because honestly speaking, as I said, I cannot find any reason why that hospital is not.
We owe money. We owe money, which is why it is not operational. I mean, yesterday, Dr. Nsiasari mentioned that there needs to be a few things done there, a few outstanding works and installation of some specialized equipment to be installed at Afari, for example, before it is operationalized. Contractor says we owe. In fact, initially, the amounts that we owed was $36 million. But the government at the time was able to negotiate the money downwards to $19 million. And that's what we need to pay, and we've still not been able to pay.
Well, if I'm glad you've told me that. If we owe $90 million, then I think it's a big blight on the image of the country, because something as important as healthcare should come before a lot of other things. But I believe that, to put politics aside, with the current strategy that His Excellency has been employed in cutting down costs, even with the World Cup, I hear we are not going to send anybody, any fans there. So I think with all these cost-cutting measures, we may be able to get to a point where we'll be able to pay this $90 million. However, I think Parliament should come together, take another look at it. If there's a way to suspend another project that is not as important as health, then, if possible, the fund should then be brought in to take care of this. Or maybe we can even take a cue from His Majesty Otumfuo,
okay.
with what he did regarding the Komfanoche project. We, the private citizens who are shouting from the rooftops about this, we should also find a way to chip in. But all in all, I think it's a wake-up call.
Okay.
The earlier we sort it out, the better. And I think $19 million for a country as rich as Ghana, it shouldn't be a problem. Because if you are going to do the calculations from 2014, when it started, to 2026, the number of times that the project has stopped and started, unnecessary costs were incurred in order to rectify certain things that had gone in
and we were supposed to pay, even when at the time, there were changes in the location. Per the contract that was signed, even if you made those changes and it still didn't happen, you're supposed to pay a certain amount to the contractors for that period.
Yes.
And we still had to pay it.
Yes. So there is a lot of financial mismanagement there on behalf of both parties. And I think the committee that has been meeting regularly to look into how certain finances have been misused, they should look into it.
Okay.
And those who are seen to have slept on the job, whether ministers or contractors or whoever they are, then they should also be allowed to cough it up as others have been asked to.
Ama Kokonsa, good morning to you. I've seen your message. I'll skip that for the by the way. But Ronnie Caneda says, why didn't you finish it? MPP seems to think that Ghanaians are stupid. Boogie Brown says, this is the hypocrisy of the African politician. The minority MP knows very well that what the right channels are to visit such a place. Even the president won't go there without prior notice to the security hierarchy, but decided to have an altercation with the military. They've been in power for 8 years. What did they do about the Afari hospital when they were in power? The politicians cause chaos and risk the lives of innocent souls while they send their children abroad for greener pastures. Okay, let me see if I'll find a few. I'll skip, okay. I'll skip some of them. Maybe I'll just go back to Mr. Richard Kumado, who's on Zoom at the moment. You've also had the explanations from Senor and, of course, from Doc as well with regards to why we've not been able to complete it, where we are at the moment, and what the way forward is. But let's talk about the security implications of having some of these abandoned projects up until this point, especially on the back of the fact that we have health professionals who are going on strike because their CEO has been asked to proceed on suspension. And that's because our hospitals are choked. And so we cannot take any more people. It will get to a point where probably we'll have no beds in Kolebu, in Komfanoche, or any of these other places, and we'll not be able to take in any more, patients. Yet we have all these facilities. In fact, between Afari and Sewa, if we combine the number of beds we have there, that's about 750 to 800 beds sitting, and we have not operationalized these institutions. What would be the security implications for that? Please unmute yourself.
Our national development plan is 40, and the way we look at it is more from a parochial political lenses rather than the national interest. If you put national interest and national security priority, where you have many persons visiting hospitals, you have an engineer that died recently, that there was a whole investigation into it. You have a CEO being sacked or suspended because Komfanoche was overflowing. You have La Hospital that is not built, demolished without a plan, no money to finish it. Kolebu is in trouble. 37 cannot hold up the people. Then you can see that when it comes to health, which is a critical aspect of national security, and which got to do with the core functions of what you do as a nation in ensuring that your productive environment and energy is not being spent in hospital where most of your people are sick, you will need to look at it again as a national security strategy plan to ensure that it's either you are putting up the hospitals or find out what is really making your people sick and find out credible ways of dealing with it. You are also talking about other issues like Ebola, which just sprang in some other countries, and you don't know how it's going to travel to your country. You have, other viruses coming in. You will need to be strategizing. And this is not the time to be fighting over who started this, who didn't start this, and who didn't finish this. If it's about money, then we make appeal to the president to ensure that funds are made available through the Minister of Finance for some of these hospitals to be completed. There's another one around, I think, Apetipi area also, which is one of the biggest ones we've started. I think we need to be more strategic and be more cohesive and be more nationalistic when it comes to health, when it comes to food, and when it comes to transport, and when it comes to public safety as a whole. But you can't have politicians who are supposed to be lawmakers who flout the law and behave as if they are misbehaving and jumping into one place to another. That doesn't order well. And TV3 is a place where you come to learn, you come to be educated, and that is why you can spend 1 hour or 2 hours of your time to learn something new, to know what is happening across the nation. When it becomes too political and it's form of accusations and people are defending their positions here and there, no, that doesn't order well for us as a nation. And I think this democracy needs some level of structures which we might be lacking as a whole. For me, who have watched this space for a very long time, I know the importance of health when it comes to national security. So I want to say that let's stop authenticating soldiers. Let's stop misbehaving towards law enforcement officers. They play more key role, and they are more sensitive to the development of this country than many of the persons we thought who are misbehaving.
How should we address the issue of abandoned projects moving forward? Should we as a nation have a policy that stops us from coming up with new projects altogether so we can focus on the ones that have been left to rot? And it's not just the health sector. I mean, education sector and a number of other places as well. Roads, construction, Saglemi, etc. We have so many of these, projects that are still yet to be completed. And yet, every party comes and promises a new project altogether. They come into power, they start that project, and we have a number of these other projects abandoned.
Definitely, it's a default in our national security strategy and our national development strategy, as I've said. If Ibrahim Traore is building a hospital, you think he would allow politicians to work in there when the project is not completed? You think they would have allowed segregation to go the way it's going? That ministers cannot find who owns the contract and where the monies have been paid, and they shouldn't pay the money and those monies have been paid? You have Agenda 111, some level of investigations going into some of these things. Bella, I was on the show with you. I remember that day when it came out that people have plans in their hands and they have nowhere to start the hospitals. And it came out that people have designs and they were paying monies and they have no clue where to start those hospitals. We discussed it on TV3.
Yeah.
I was in the studio that day. I remember so well. After many years, today we are being told that about $6 to $7 million is being investigated in relation to Agenda 111. That tells you that this politics has become too divisive. This politics has become conducive for people to loot from the state. And nobody really cares about what happens to us as a nation. If we want to develop, and from what we have seen so far, then we would have a strategy to say that if blocks that started many years ago is completed, Afari Hospital that started many years ago is completed, many of the hospitals across the country is completed, and you are not going to have that engineer who would die, that you will need Professor Kosa to set up a whole investigation to determine whether the system has failed the engineer or the doctors on duty are overwhelmed and they are no best in that regard. I think this whole thing is becoming too messy. There's no structure, and we need to look at it again. Whether it is finance, there has to be structure. Whether it is abandonment, there has to be structure. And people who fail in their responsibilities will need to be held accountable. But then again, Bella, here we are as a country where nobody wants to be held accountable. Nobody wants to take responsibility seriously because you ask them to account for their stewardship and they will wear political colors and political t-shirts. And that becomes the end. So you are just running the country which has too many defaults. And many of the things you do really doesn't add up. And that is why corruption and corruption-related matters in all aspects of our national development has become a major integral part where our country is not developing as it is. We can only plead and say that, Mr. President, make monies available. We know you have the heart to do that. Speak to your finance minister, make monies available. And this Apari hospital has become a major thorny issue in the lives of the people who create many noise around it. And build a La hospital, and the people of Greater Accra will be happy, because my mom worked at the La hospital, and we know the important role La hospital played before it was pulled down and no structure came out, and there was no money made available. If Apari is built, the one at the Petitfield is built, the La is built, and many of the hospitals and the U-blocks and the transportation systems are built, Ghanaians will be happy, and they will leave politicians alone. Until that is done, they own the purse, they disperse the purse, and people are going to ask for accountability. So sometimes when people are asking for accountability from politicians, it's not because they hate them, but it's because we are all in the same boat and we want betterment for this country we call Ghana.
Okay, Senor, so do you agree then that moving forward as political parties, instead of promising new projects, maybe we should all have a policy that says, let's complete all the ones that are lying fallow, get them operationalized, and then moving forward, now we can have a better plan as to what is needed in this country in terms of projects that need to be constructed?
Well, I think that the question is moving forward. What politicians have to do is fulfilling their promises. The things we say on platforms, we should fulfill them. I say this on the backdrop on the fact that after the president's prior to the 2024 election saying that the Agenda 11 was an ambitious project, I recall him again saying on another platform that every legacy project would be completed. He is in his second year now, still counting. And we cannot tell when some projects will be completed. They will tell you A today, the next day they are telling you B. They are for a military hospital. The 3% that is left, the update I'm even getting right now is that it's just a sewage and even the fixtures and fittings that needs to be completed at some places.
But Dr. Isiansari spoke yesterday, and he didn't say it's just a sewage. That's what I read earlier. I wrote what he said.
It's just a sewage and fixtures and fittings.
Okay.
That is what I just said right now.
Okay.
So if all these things needs to be done, why are we not completing them? Because we saw some of the materials that were there yesterday. For example, the doctor's bungalow, the nurse's bungalow. These are all places that have bungalow. There's a Wa hospital. It's been completed and commissioned as at 4th January 2025.
There's no water, there's no electricity at Sewa
As
Hospital.
it stands today, the briefing I got, not even now, the briefing I got, is that the only challenge with that place has to do with the road network, which is not in good shape.
So you are not aware that it's not been connected to the grid, and
What
there's
I
no
know
water?
was that there was no plants at the time. And as at Saturday, when there was a briefing, I am aware that there's a standby plant currently at the place, in place of even the usual electricity that we are all using. So what is stopping the government? Even if I agree that what you're even saying is nothing to go by, what stops the government from, pulling ECG down to the place that come and, give the people light? So the whole thing is just political. The whole thing is just being hypocritical. But one thing that triggers me and got me a bit fascinating is that you asked Honorable Mohammed that how much do they need to complete, or is the 19 million, as you said, is it there to complete?
Have the money, yes.
He's fumbling. He couldn't say it. Meanwhile, he's a member of the select committee. So the question I asked him is that, then what is his relevance on the committee? Because he doesn't even know when it will take for the committee to even complete the project. He is just embodied there by his mind and soul. It's not part of the committee because he doesn't know the details of when it will take for the project to be completed. And I want to tell him that he should prioritize health, because even in his own constituency, Nanton, where roofing has been done, but now one would have thought that he's coming from that field. He should be advocating for things of this nature, but not to sit here and do the usual politics. Politics is killing all of us gradually as a country. Politics is killing all of us. And I want to even ask him, he should name just 2 hospitals that has been started by his government in the history of this republic and has been completed. Just 2. We came, if for nothing at all, let me just take you through just 5. Just 5 of them. We came. We inherited the Fomena Hospital. We've completed it.
We shouted for so long before.
It's not about the shout.
No,
the fact
I
is,
just want to put that on record because
let's put aside the shout.
I was very
the
active
shouting.
in that shouting as well.
No, Bella, let's not even
before
go
we
on
even
that
got Fomena operationalized.
Whether we shouted or not, it was completed. True of us. Was it completed?
Did we have to scream
Was it
at the top
completed?
of our lungs? It was, yes. But did we have
it
to
was
scream?
completed. Now, beyond that, the Kumewu Hospital, which is an Aerojet project.
Another one.
It was I recall that prior to the by-election that was held there, that was my first time visiting that area. And I went to see the facility for myself. We inherited that project. We've completed it. Then you go to Bekwai. We've done that as well. These are legacy projects that we inherited. Now, in his own mind, he should just name just 2. I'm not even going beyond 2. Just 2 that they started and they have completed. He can't name just a single one. When it comes to issues of health in the Ashanti region, I believe that regardless of the nemesis that people may want to say, the MPP stand out. Yes, we may not be perfect as a Roman father who puts on a white, whatever. But what matters here most is that they have not prioritized health when it comes to the Ashanti region.
Okay. Let's go back to Sewa Hospital very quickly before we move on.
Okay.
Now, it was commissioned right before the former president left power.
It was commissioned on the 4th of January, yeah.
You were all aware that we didn't have Sewa Hospital in a state that could be operationalized, and yet it was commissioned. Why?
Sewa Hospital was completed. Like I said, the only challenge at the time was the road.
It wasn't completed.
What was?
But you just said that now you're getting indication that beyond the road, there were also some sewage and installation
I
issues
said
as
the
well.
sewage and fittings has to do with our Afari military. That is what I said on your show.
Oh, for Afari.
Yes.
But Sewa, that's what I'm
Sewa.
telling you that. So Sewa, there's no light, there's no water. We're told by Dr.
And I
Nsiah,
just also repeated on your platform that Sewa has gotten a standby plant generator.
but there's no water. Now, what we are also getting from Dr. Titus Bayo, and yesterday he spoke to City as well. He says that the money that was paid to the contractor, we're told that there's some money owed the contractor. But when they checked the documents, they're realizing that there's some discrepancies in how much was even paid the contractor, and it may have even been bloated. Okay, so that's also another leg of the conversation that we're supposed to have before Sewa can be operationalized. Because if that's not done,
And that has to take
we're
us,
not getting
that has
access.
to take us 3 years, 4 years.
But if the
to have
contractor
the
says
conversation.
we owe money,
Bella,
don't you think that
Bella,
we have to pay that money as
Bella,
well before it is
Bella,
operationalized?
This
And
coun-
yet we went ahead
Bella,
to
this
commission?
country is a country that is known by everybody.
Are you aware of it though? That there are some discrepancies in the payments to the contractor?
I am
Have you
aware
heard
the
about it?
government is actually auditing all this project that has been left. They've not come out with their report yet. So I don't know those details that you are coming out with. But I'm
Okay.
aware that they are auditing everything that was left for them.
All right.
But what we need to understand is that Ghana is not in a vacuum. We know the politics being played. What we are saying is that prioritize health. When hospitals have been completed and you claim that the only thing left is water, the select committee member who sits right with me over here claims that issues of A, B, C, D are the ones left. You want to tell me that you put those things aside, whereas big push, you are pushing over billions of CDs over there, and you cannot take a portion of that money to complete those hospitals. What are you telling us?
Let Doc come in and respond to this issue that you have brought up then.
And let me finish before he comes to
Oh,
respond.
you finished?
No,
I'm moving on.
Please, let me finish.
I'm
Then he
moving
can-
on.
No, he cannot sit here and say that he cannot tell us the amount of money that will be pumped into the place when you ask him. I am saying that big push, the money they are putting into big push, where are they getting it from? Can they channel? The same question comes when you
So
ask me.
let him respond
Oh,
to it.
please,
That's why I said, no, your time is up.
Let me finish. The way you are interjecting me doesn't make my
I
argument
apologize,
work.
but your time is up. Let me go to Doc so that he can also get a chance to speak to this.
I am saying that in sharp contrast, if you are to look at whatever that is happening, the amount that they are pumping into the big push, that same amount or portion of it could have been channeled into the project to complete it, because the amount of money needed is millions. It's not in billions. So what stops them from doing that? Whereas nurses are sitting at home, they need jobs, and you are prioritizing what? 24-hour markets where rats and things will be moving in the night.
So let him respond. Thank you, Senor. Doc, respond to this point.
You see, when you listen to people like Senor, sometimes I want to retire as a politician just now.
Why?
They make our work too difficult. People like Senor just make the public look at the politician and they say, we walk around feeling so big, but yet we are so light.
I hope when I come in sharp contrast, you know better for the statement you make.
No, but Senor, I was here.
Doc, please
I was
make
right
your point.
here when you said I sit on the health committee and I don't know what.
No, you continue.
You see, you can't even take a little bit of your own medicine.
I'm only reminding
Doc,
you.
we
So
don't
don't
have
worry.
time. Please move.
I'm saying, when you listen to people in the NPP, you can't just help but just ask yourself, why? Is it not possible that God would have just made it such that we just have Doc who is very affiliated to the CPP and the rest? I mean, look, you ask of Sewa, how do you go build a hospital that has no electricity, that has no power, 3 days to the handing over of a president, you go and do what?
Commission
it. For who? For what? Which hospital runs without water? Bella, which hospital can run without water? Which hospital? Okay, you put all the anesthetic machines there. You put all the beds in there. You put all the laboratory equipment in there. There's no electricity. How are you going to work with such a hospital? You go commission that and you want us to clap hands for you? You ask me that I sit on the Select Committee of Health? Dr. Ayu, he was the chairman of the Select Committee of Health when all these projects started. But he had, sorry, I don't want to use the word. He walked in there yesterday asking questions. Why is it not done? Look, Bella, doctors in Konfanoche, they are saying that they are overstretched because there are no beds. Patients in Kumasi, patients in Tamale, patients in Accra, they are saying that, look, when they walk in for basic emergency care, they struggle. And look, all of us seated around this table, we are patients. You know why? It just takes a second, and then you are down. Just here. As I'm speaking, I can just fall.
Yeah.
And then the next available place, they say, let's rush him to Rage. You get to Rage, there's no bed. It doesn't matter if you are an MP, if you are Bella, if you are a senior. Once you get to the hospital, you require care. What we are saying as a government is that, look, we have inherited certain facilities that needs to be completed. We have to complete those facilities. But you see, if you use the common sense approach, and look, this thing is not complex. You came, you met a hostel that was 97% per your own statistics complete. You left that hospital, and in those regions, you were building 111 hospitals. Fella, you are building 111 hospitals. And you are asking me that I should give you examples of hospitals we have started from scratch and completed. Meanwhile, in your own example, you didn't give us a hospital that you started from your own. You said you came and met.
No, I said
Senor, don't do this. Senor, don't do this. Senor,
don't go there.
Senor, don't do this.
To be fair, you said started and completed. And then later you said inherited. Before you said inherited.
You see, when you speak, you don't even listen to yourself. Senor, when you speak, you don't listen to yourself.
Don't worry, continue.
When you speak, you must. You see, this edge, you see, I understand where you are coming from. Look, you failed the good people of Ghana. And you see, the problem is that in failing, they think that these are the processes we used to win. That Honorable Akando was barging into health facilities. That's how come we got 1.5 million votes more than them. Look, no. It's a process. The good people of Ghana were just tired about your governance structure and your governance system and how you were running this country. You see, in trying to copy what your opponents do, put it into proper perspective. You see, it was a copy thing they did yesterday that ran them into trouble. But they forgot that the issues in 2021 are not the same issues that we are battling with in 2026. The president, like I told you, has shown love and compassion. The minister has shown the energy and the resilience to make sure that, look, we solve our health problems. He's saying today, he has from his records that he knows that there's a plan. Did the plan come from heaven? When you left it in January, yeah, 2025, right? Now there's a plan. Doesn't it tell you, Bella, that some efforts have been made to make sure that it's operationalized?
All right. Land for me, please.
I'm landing.
We have to go.
In landing, what we are saying is that we will not in any way, look, we will take criticisms from the good people of Ghana to make sure that we work. But we will not, any day at all, take any form of criticism from the NPP, who had that opportunity in 8 years to complete a project that is 97%.
All right.
But still left
Thank
it.
you, Doc.
Thank you. No, but Bella, on a final note, on a very final
Doc, my time is up.
On a very final note, final note.
5 seconds.
5 seconds.
Yes, please.
Senor, when you head back, when you go back home, sit the rest of your select committee members down. Let's take them through procedure. Let's remind them of what they did when they were there 8 years ago.
Thank you, Doc.
And tell
Thank you,
Akando
Doc.
to also wake up and stop
Dr.
the
Mohammed Sharif Abdul Khalik is a member of Parliament for Nanton constituency, Parliamentary Select Committee on Health. He's also a member. Emmanuel Senyor Ameplenu, NPP National Communications Team member. Kwame Nkrumah Botio is a private legal practitioner. Forgive me that I couldn't come to you finally. I'm already being counted down. And Richard Kumado joined us via Zoom. He's a fraud prevention and security expert. And to all of you who also send messages on social media, we've seen them. Forgive me, I cannot read them at this point. We have to go. But the big issue is sponsored by the University of Gold Coast. And so regardless of what you're aiming for, whether it's a specialist MBA in marketing, communication, operations, supply chain, human resource management, finance, entrepreneurship, innovation, or business intelligence analytics, or you just want to advance through a dual MBA or Chartered Manager MBA, UGC gives you those options that match your vision. So if your next step is an MSc in International Relations, Communication, International Marketing, International Law, Security, Diplomacy, Accounting, Finance, or Human Resource Management, or you want an LLM in International Law, Security, Diplomacy, or MA in Biblical Studies, Practical Theology, then the pathway is open. You can apply today because at the University of Gold Coast, we make it practical, flexible, and of course, give you the entry that's also flexible and give you flexible payments as well. If you're working or you have a very busy life, we table that, schedule for you to make things convenient. Your dream deserves structure. Your future deserves strategy, and your purpose deserves training. Apply now at www.ugc.edu.gh or call or WhatsApp them on 026-388-8555. University of Gold Coast, building leaders for the nations. Sports is coming up next, of course. Officially, Cup begins today. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll be back.
In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abnanya Kwasmeni, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
The world around us is changing, not slowly, not quietly. In the north, the rains that once arrived on time don't come anymore. In the middle belt, rivers and forests disappearing overnight. Along the coast, the sea is swallowing land that families have called home for generations. Rising temperatures, failed harvests, homes lost to tides. This is not a warning about tomorrow. This is the world right now. TV3 and the German Embassy in Ghana. The conversation on climate security implications in Ghana. The Climate Talks 2026. 5 cities, 5 conversations, 1 urgent call to action. Tali, Bolgatanga, Kumasi, Keta, Accra. Starting this June 2026. The climate talks are coming, and this time the people most affected by Ghana's climate security crisis will be at the center of it all. Because the time for Ghana to act is now. In a world full of noise, clarity matters. Stories shape us, ideas challenge us. An honest dialogue moves us forward. This is a space for depth, where voices are heard and perspectives matter. Conversations with Dr. Abnanya Kwasmeni, coming soon on TV3.
TV3, first in news.
Advance here in 2006.
There was a
TV3 Sports, and Ajimai, our head of market, group head of marketing. The idea was to reflect on Ghana's World Cup history. So you saw that it opened with the first time Ghana went to the World Cup, how it brought around the whole nation with Aniela and people watching, how they would run and go and see a game when it was being played. But it also then dovetailed into the amazing scenes of the 2010 World Cup and the intensity and the tears and how we came close to history with that one kick and didn't get there. Then Akosia came in with that story of the 2014 World Cup that was completely undone by some say the greed, some say the disorganization, the money having to be flown. Then there was the lull in between in 2018 when Ghana didn't qualify, but a return to 2018, the Kudus magic, on the cusp of hope, the inability to win against Uruguay. But we said, well, we always come back. So hopefully this year will be a comeback. And as we've done throughout this period, whether in 2006, TV3 started covering the World Cup all the way back in 1998. 1998.
Wow.
I remember very well, we watched a lot of the France 98 on TV3, the days of Jan Pofo and Fifi Bansen and others. I was a pundit on this station in my very, very early years during the 2002 World Cup when Senegal went all the way to the quarterfinal. During the 2006 World Cup, we were heavy on it. We did interviews with Michael Essien in London. We interviewed a lot of people. 2010, TV3 was heavy on it. 2014, I was the on-ground reporter in Brazil throughout the chaos. 2024, TV3, the Julia-led team was even more amazing on it. The on-ground crossovers to Doha, the reporting, the social media intensity, the promo was really good with the gentlemen walking in and everything that we did. Even then, the squad introduction was cinema on its own. So we thought that we would remind people that for this World Cup, this is still your home. Nothing has changed.
And even much better.
Yes. So same intensity, same coverage. We'll do it better. We'll integrate digital elements better, and we'll ensure that over the course of the period, people will be happy. I've heard people say, why 34 games? 34 games because that's the nature of free-to-air. World Cup television rights are structured in such a way that pay TV always pays more, and they get the highest value of the work. Free-to-air always will not get the full right of the matches. So everybody in the team is ready, up for it. We kicked off with a big show last night called a Big Kickoff for 2 hours, and throughout the period of the competition, we want to be as intense as we can be on it.
38 teams. We've got 16 cities, 3 countries, Mexico, Canada, and the USA. And you just mentioned the 34 games that we are covering. But tell us more about what we should be expecting in terms of the organization. I know there is a big one tonight.
So the first game is tonight. Basically, what we are doing by the rule of the World Cup engagement as part of the consortium, brought together by GBC, but with the heavy backing of government as well. We are required to do a 1-hour build-up before that period. So that's what we'll do today. Before every match, a 1-hour build-up, and giving credit to all the commercial partners in that, but also with us, the crossover into the United States, the analysis with some of our pundits. We've lined up quite a bit of heavyweights, like Kinson, former Black Stars assistant Maxwell Konodu, former Ghana striker August Naimfo, former Ghana defender Daniel Opare. We have Sammy Bartels and his current team, Benjamin Graham, who is quite heavy on football and the rest. We will have a really good team. We want to make this World Cup as social as possible. So Akosia J, Esiedua, Adjoa Noela will be bringing us the heavy social element of that. We'll be doing a lot of analysis. I will join the team in the studio sometimes. We'll have digital exclusive content and the rest. For us, this will be like, it's like our big moment, and we will absolutely live it. But in addition to that, apart from the live matches, every day, our Sports Daily will metamorphosize into Mundial Daily, where we're just focused heavily on the World Cup. We also have one program before the main build-up starts and everything called the Super Fun, because we think the World Cup is a fan-based thing. So we'll give voice to the fans who are watching here, the fans who are, as you can see on the TV, the fans who are watching here.
Also, they'll be contributing to the programs that we're going to be having.
Yes, so you're contributing by voice notes, you're contributing by video clips. We are interviewing people at video centers. We are bringing you the heartbeat of everything from the ground. We will be as intense as we want to be on it.
And of course, this is a period of excitement across the world.
Yeah.
How do you think all these are going to help keep the excitement within Ghana itself?
You see, for Ghana, the excitement really is about as much about the Black Stars as it's about anything else. But I've also been around long enough to know that the World Cup really, when Ghana gets out of the competition, the World Cup moves on.
Yeah.
The only exception may have been the 2010 World Cup when the disappointment of not winning then doused the intensity and the engagement of everything. But in those 3 games, so for us, 3 key dates in this period. Next week, Wednesday, June 17th, in Toronto, a heavy Ghana city. 23rd June in Boston, very important because Ghana is playing against England, the single most important World Cup game in the history of this country, I dare say, because of the connection between the 2 countries. And on 27th June in Philadelphia, Ghana versus Croatia. Ore Kwampofu will be on ground. He will give us everything, but we also have a broader team in the communities, among fans, among Ghana fans in the USA, tracking the journeys of people from their homes to the stadiums, telling the stories of their disappointment. We will have a fan camp where fans are telling us what they think, what they've seen, how they are traveling to the games, with this famous American culture of gating before sporting events, when people arrive nice and early, have picnics at the stadium and the rest. Our job over the period is to make sure that if you're in this country, you have a great sense of everything that is happening.
So what it means is that you have special content surrounding the Black Stars as well to ensure that we have everything we need to know,
Absolutely,
not just about the...
We basically have done all that. Look, there's there are elements within the consortium about behind the scenes and all that, but we also have our own arrangements where we will make you as strong and as powerful as we can be during the period.
And I know that in the last few months leading up to this, we've had our own issues. It's been up and down, but really going into this, today we are opening with South Africa and Mexico. What should we expect from our team before we even go to South Africa and Mexico?
From the Black Stars team?
Yes.
Look, I've been a bit conflicted about the Black
Realistic
Stars
expectations.
team. I was speaking to my friend Nene from 1957, and he said, the first thing he said to me when he accosted me this morning was, why don't you believe in the Black Stars? No, I believe in other teams more. I don't think this Black Stars team will disgrace themselves. I've seen enough. I was in Wales, and I saw the intensity of training. I saw the match against Wales. I've seen the better organization. I think the back is good. I think Carlos Queiroz really knows his stuff. And I think, unlike with Iran and the rest, where he doesn't get out of the group stage, he has a better group of players to be able to do that. I absolutely do think that this team will not embarrass themselves, but I don't think this team will do with South Africa 2010. So that's the difference. I don't think this team will reach the quarterfinal. But in a tournament where there are 48 teams, where there's an extra knockout stage of 32 teams, I think this team will reach the second round of the competition, the round of 32. Because remember, the threshold is the top 2 teams in every group qualifies, and then they are the 8th best 3rd place team. If the Black Stars are not able to get out of that, then we'll be giving credence to the fact that we are the 2nd lowest ranked team in the competition. And I think that whilst the result may have suggested that, so we've not won a game in 6. We've not won a game since we beat Comoros to seal our World Cup qualification. We've become bad in that sense. But I think when the World Cup comes around, this team is way too talented. We'll be well prepared for that. I hope the training sessions they've had with Queiroz will pay dividends. And I think it will be a different story.
You do not think that will embarrass ourselves on the world stage, but you also think there could be a limit as regards how far we can go?
That's always been the case. Look, in 2006, and whilst we're doing this, just for the purposes of history, tomorrow, 12 June, it's exactly 20 years since Ghana showed up at the World Cup. Tomorrow, 12 June, the Ghana anthem was played at the World Cup for the first time 20 years ago. We stepped out against Italy. We didn't embarrass ourselves. We did what we used to call in the Ghanaian sports journalism parlance, gallant losers. Now, what has happened since then? What happened since then was that then we recovered and beat Czech Republic, then we beat the USA. We went through. We know how to step up on the big stage, because even in the tournaments where we have not done well, and 2 tournaments that comes to mind, the last World Cup in Qatar, we shouldn't have lost to Portugal, but we lost to them. Story goes, the Uruguay loss was a self-defeating loss. We missed the penalty. We were too fixated on revenge, and we lost our eye on the big ball. But in the game against South Korea, we played blinding football. There were 26 or so passes in the lead up to one of our goals.
Yeah.
Our star boy Kudus announced himself to the world, and the football that day was praised widely. In 2014, amid all the chaos, our game against Germany was adjudged the best game, one of the best games in terms of technical quality of the competition. Asamoah Gyan, in that tournament, became the highest goal scorer in World Cup history for Ghana. When we've not done well, we've still left the World Cup, reminding people that when it comes to football, we are right. And I think we'll do the same thing at this competition.
I know when Carlos Queiroz was brought on board, the main concern was that the time is too short for him to be able to do something significant. One of the things that came up was, how is he even going to warm up to the team and all the other relevant stakeholders he needs to? Looking at how far he's worked, just within the last few weeks alone, do you think he'll help us do something extra, like the icing on the cake, although we may not go that far?
It depends on your definition of extra. Now, if extra is being better than what we looked towards the last days and Eduardo, I think it's an absolute yes. I saw enough in the Wales game to be convinced about that. The defensive shape was better. It was obvious in that game that he was trying what the defensive outlook of the team will be. So I think that he will just make us just a more stronger outfit, a more stronger unit at the World Cup. He will make us defensively sounder. He will make us a bit more intense, and I think we would be a lot more rock solid than we've been in the past.
Now, opening tonight, South Africa and Mexico, but tell us from TV3, what are we doing, what time, and what people should be expecting?
We're going on now 4:30, our obligatory 1 hour build-up. The opening ceremony itself kicks off at 5:30, so you can stay in tune with that throughout the period. And then the match itself kicks off at 7 p.m. So there's a 1 hour for opening ceremony, 5 to 5:30, and then our build-up begins way before then. We will be intense on it, as intense as we can be.
Simultaneous on 3FM?
We're having to, the commentary on 3FM will be completely different.
Okay.
Because if you simulcast radio, television describes movements,
yes.
And the rest, TV is not the same. So we'll be heavy on 3FM on it as well with this one set of programming. The programs that will go simultaneous will be our Mundial Daily, which is the analysis and everything on 3FM. But for the commentary, it will be unique to every platform.
Should we expect the same for Onua TV and radio as well?
Onua TV, Onua FM. I actually think the Onua promo is nicer, but the Onua studio is really good looking. Onua has a stellar team of pundits as well. Alfred and Apeja.
There's something about local dialect commentary that always stuns me. It's amazing.
Yeah. So Alfred, Adipa, all of them, everybody will be on point. And we've lined up a really good cast of pundits as well. Nuhu Adams, the expert African football analyst, will be crisscrossing between Onua and TV3. Coach Jay Sapon as well will do both. We have Maxwell Kuledu. Our pundits will dovetail in between and all that. But there will also be pundits who will be sitting on Onua, the former striker Prince Tego, who played in 2010. We have like a really good team. But Onua punditry team is led by the Rock of Gibraltar himself. John Mensah was Ghana captain in 2010. He was the Ghana defender in 2006. And we're really delighted that he's agreed to join Onua.
I'm really looking forward to we making ourselves proud on the world stage. But any final words we need to have from you before you go?
Keep wearing the yellow jersey.
But yes, I said.
But it will be a good tournament.
Yes, I said final words. But South Africa and Mexico, what should we expect?
I think it's one of those. Look, I've seen a lot of people say that this is the day that the whole of Africa hates on SA, and I don't think it will be that. I think in a footballing sense, South Africa will be a really strong force today.
Okay.
Their coach Hugo Bruce is one of the best statisticians in the game. He's smart. He took Cameroon to the Nations Cup in 2017 when nobody expected them to. Under him, South Africa have looked rock solid in major tournaments, and I think because of that, they will be an incredible force of nature.
What team are you supporting, the SA or Mexico?
I'm literally, South Africa is one of my favorite places to go. So.
Okay.
I mean, I don't support teams at tournaments because they're African teams. You understand? But I want South Africa to do well. Hopefully, the things that have happened there lately, which have been an absolute crying shame, And I've been to that country too many times to know that it doesn't represent the entire country.
Yeah. All right. Thank you very much, Michael.
You're welcome.
For joining us. Michael Otieje, General Manager for Sri Sports here at Media Journal. And of course, you want to stay tuned in. It starts at 4:30 p.m. today. A special package for you. And there will be a special one as well on Sri FM 92.7. And also you want to look out for what will be happening on Onua TV and FM. Stay tuned in. When we come back, we'll bring you some more.
Maintain their form.
There was a time when an ordinary afternoon became a national memory. Ghana at the World Cup for the first time.
Then came the night we stood one kick from eternity.
And he hits the bar!
And football reminded us how close glory can come before it disappears.
Then came the noise when the battle was not only on the pitch, and a nation asked itself what had happened to the dream.
Then came the old ghosts, a new team, a new fire, the same heartbreak.
But this country knows how to return. 20 years after the first dream, Ghana is going back.
Every story deserves another chapter.
This one will be bigger than ever.
4018s.
3 countries, 1 world stage.
Every goal,
Every tear,
Every argument.
Every moment, TV3 will live it with you.
TV3, your home
of the 2026 FIFA World Cup.
Because this time, the story is not just being told, it is being lived.
I mean, it's important to know what you're eating and what's in what you're eating. And so this morning, we're here to have a conversation with you on some of the challenges associated with the kind of things you eat and really what you need to do to be able to ensure that you're staying healthy. I'm joined in the studio now by Julius Evame Agbagba. He's a dietitian. Good morning to you, sir. It's great to have you.
Good morning, Beatrice.
I mean, it was just Sunday we celebrated World Food Safety Day.
Yeah.
And we'll be going into the theme and all of that in the course of our conversation.
Okay.
But I noticed, based on data, that apparently 11 million people die annually because of diet-related issues.
Yes.
And that represents about 12.2% of global mortality or death. Yeah. I mean, just tell us really the significance of celebrating such a day in the midst of the data that we have.
Well, World Food Safety Day wants to focus on the fact that the food we are eating should help us and not to harm us. So they have set aside 8th June to ensure that we remember that whatever we eat is safe and healthy and then nutritious for us, so that we don't get this kind of statistic. Because you mentioned correctly that 11 million people die annually. But when you look at the data that gets sick from food-related illness, it's about 600 million a year.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, globally. So you see the seriousness of the issue. So days like this, we want to focus on the education and look at practical solutions to ensure that people have access to safe food.
So why are they dying? Is it that the food they are eating is wrong, or there's something in the food that is causing them to get sick and eventually die?
Now, when you look at our markets, unlike before, when you look at our markets are full of highly ultra-processed foods. And these foods have been noted to make us more prone to non-communicable diseases like diabetes, cancers, and hypertension, chronic illness, chronic kidney diseases. So these are some of the things that are making us sick when it comes to food. Of course, there are other factors. There are general lifestyles, like we are not exercising as we used to exercise, but for the purposes of this conversation, and for the purposes of the day that we are celebrating, we want to focus on the food.
Let me ask you this before we even go into the theme. You talk about what we see on recent markets, highly ultra-processed foods. That's what you said.
Yeah.
I believe that health experts and regulatory bodies would want to ensure that what we ingest is good for our system. Do we understand why we have these that are not good for us flooded on the market instead of they being checked so that we don't have them?
Well, I believe that ultra-processed foods or processed foods in themselves were actually supposed to solve an issue, to solve an issue of food security, food availability throughout the year. But because to some extent there was no holistic approach to introducing these foods, because if you are thinking about keeping foods on the shelf throughout the year, because those times it was hunting and gathering.
Yeah.
Then we moved to seasonal eating, where what is in season is what you eat. But then science has made it easier that food can be processed and kept for a longer period. And it is towards ensuring food security. But when you look at the definition of food security is saying that everybody must have access to safe food at every time. And this food should be nutritious and not be harmful to their health. So because there was no holistic approach, there was more focus on the commercial aspects, which is like to making of the profits to our health. That's why for occasions like this, we advocate that we should come up with solutions that help us to cater for the problems that are being brought by some of these ultra-processed foods.
And indeed, it leads me to the theme of for this year, which is from burden to solutions, safe food everywhere.
Yes.
Tell us more.
Yeah, the idea is that, yes, there's a burden. 600 million people are getting sick every year. 11 million people are leaving this world because of poor diets. We have the data. The burden is there. But what are we doing? We should move beyond just the talks, the speeches, and look at practical solutions. Look at cost-effective solutions, because if you put in a solution that is not sustainable, after some few years, there's going to be burnout and there's going to be fatigue, and then people would not abide by it again. But if you have cost-effective solutions, then it makes it more sustainable, and we are able to curb some of these issues. And for us at GAND and as Send Ghana, the practical solution that we are offering, which is cost-effective, scientific, evidence-based, is the front of pack warning label.
And you're actually calling for the mandatory,
yeah,
I mean, it should be made mandatory.
Yeah.
Tell us why you think this would be one of the main solutions we need at this time.
We feel it's one of the main solutions because, you know, currently there is a lot of burden on the consumer to decide what food is good. I mean, I as a dietitian, I can tell you, oh, when you go to the market, look for food that is high in fiber, food that is low in salt, food that is low in sugar. But when you get to the market and you pick the product, you realize that you are very confused because when you look at the label, it's so technical, the writings are small, and then unless you have some kind of nutritional expertise, then you are not really able to tell whether this food is healthy or not. But we are asking that government should have a policy where when somebody picks up the food, within the 2 seconds of picking up the food, the person is able to tell whether the food has too much of nutrients of concern. Not every nutrient. We are focusing on fats, we are focusing on salt, and we are focusing on sugar. Because these are the 3 main nutrients that are causing it. So when a person picks it, it tells you, oh, this food is high in fats, this food is high in salt, or this food is high in sugar, so that the consumer is more informed and has the power to be able to make the right decisions with their hard-earned money.
How realistic is this approach you're calling for? Because then the companies may not necessarily be willing to do that, and a number of them are quite powerful. How do you get to sell this idea?
Well, studies in countries where these have been implemented, like I can talk about Colombia, I can talk about Chile, talk about Canada, has shown that it didn't necessarily reduce the cost or increase the cost of the food. What it did was that it gave the consumer more power to be able to choose. And also, to some extent, it's made it easier, or it made it possible for even industry to be able to readjust some of the things that they are putting into the food. So let's say if you pick up a sugar-sweetened beverage, maybe like a carbonated drink or a soda, or what we call a sugary drink, and then you see it says that, oh, it's high in sugar, then you may want to opt for one that is not high in sugar, especially if you are somebody that probably you are a diabetic or you are watching your sugar, then you may probably want to pick something that is not high in sugar.
Now, having mentioned that, the other bit also, if I get what you're saying, is that when it comes to mandatory labeling, you should be able to properly read.
Yes.
You should state everything as well that is inside. That's what you're saying.
Yes.
The writings, the font, everything should be different, and everything inside as well should be stated in terms of ingredient. Is that what you're calling for?
So the current law that we have in Ghana when it comes to labeling is that the label has to be in English. It has to state what is in the food. And of course, industry is abiding by it. I mean, there are products that you see on the market that are in other languages, which maybe probably were not even approved by FDA, but they are on our markets. But when it comes to the legal, when it comes to what is being done at FDA, you realize that they make sure that these labels are on it. What we are calling for is a mandatory front of pack. No, what we have at the back of pack.
Okay.
Yes, it's at the back. What we are calling for right now is the mandatory front of pack.
So aside from the name of the product,
yes,
you should also have these ingredients and how much of them are inside what you're buying.
Not how much of them. It's just a classification that, okay, this product I've picked, the sugar is high, or it should be stated that the salt is high, or the fat is high. So that people who are watching some of this, it's just three nutrients actually, who are high cholesterol, who have kidney issues, and they are told by their dietitians to cut down on salt, would be looking out for products that are low in salt. Because if it's low in salt, it will be stated on it. If it is high in sugar, it will be stated on it. If it is low in sugar, it should be stated on it.
Okay, now I get it clearly. So it is the salt, the sugar, and the fats that you're talking about. Yes. Tell us to what extent this will help reduce like non-communicable disease, one of the leading causes of death, particularly in Ghana, and other things that are all associated with diet.
Okay. So when this was introduced in Chile, they had a study where they wanted to look at whether or not it's actually informed household decision when it comes to purchasing. And they realized that household purchases of sugar had increased by 20%, has decreased by 20%. And this is significant. Then they also saw that people bought 11% less salt, and then fat was 10%. And when it comes to calories, it decreased by 8%. These are not just projections, these are like the figures that are there. And we believe that the Ghanaian is also conscious of their health. I mean, ultra-processed foods, they are cheap, they are available, but a Ghanaian who goes to see the dietitian or sees the doctor or sees the nutritionist and is told that when you go to the market, opt for foods that are not high in fat. And then you go to the market and then you go and pick a food product and it tells you that every 100 grams has this amount of fat.
Yeah.
Without a nutrition knowledge, you're not able to tell whether it is high or not. So when we have it on the front of pack that, oh, this is high in fat, it's easier for the consumer.
So it's just to get the lay person to know that what I'm buying is good for my health or not, based on my health priorities.
Yes.
I'm glad you mentioned that ultra processed foods are cheap.
Yeah.
So then what happens in terms of calling for this, the cost implications for consumers?
For consumers, that's what I mentioned earlier, that when they did the studies in other countries, they realized that it didn't reduce the price. It didn't increase the price either. But it just makes it easier for them to make the decision when it comes to what to choose.
Again, you did mention that in addition to labeling food products correctly and stating what is in and what isn't, people should be able to live a particular lifestyle to complement the food they are taking. What would you advise as a dietitian, beyond this thing that you're calling for yet to be implemented, what people should do to, as it were, complement or fill in the deficiencies in the food that we eat?
But for starters, we need to eat more. I'm trying to be, I'm being biased here, and it's intentional. We need to eat more Ghanaian foods.
Why do you say so?
We need to eat more Ghanaian foods because, you know, our local foods have, they are more complex. They are from more complex carbohydrates, and they are more complex means they have more fiber. They have more nutrients coming, like in the same food that you have more nutrients inside there, and then they are more nutritious. And for we that have found ourselves in the tropical region, these foods are appropriate for us. Because when you look at the data is saying that things like non-communicable diseases have increased. Like currently in Ghana, it's 43% of deaths that are associated with non-communicable diseases. So we need to go back to some of the foods that we've been eating. Then we also need to move more.
Before you go to move more, there are people who are also concerned about the carbohydrates that we're eating. You're saying that a lot of the foods we have are rich in carbs, and yet other people also have issues that at the end of the day convert into glucose or sugar, and that's equally bad. How do you balance the argument to ensure that we understand this?
So when you look at the distribution of the nutrients, carbohydrate is our basic source of energy, actually, as human beings, and it's supposed to make about 45 to 65% of our diet. So sometimes I feel that when people say we eat too much carbohydrates, they are not speaking to the facts. They are just following the facts, the normal narratives, but they are not speaking to the facts. The fact is that carbohydrates should make more than half, or at least half of your plate.
Okay.
You get it?
So my wache in the morning is good?
The wache in the morning is good, but you need to also focus on where the carbohydrate is coming from.
Okay.
Because, you know, you may decide to go and buy wache in the morning. Okay, the things that you add are going to be spaghetti and gari. These are all carbohydrates.
Okay.
Maybe that's where the argument about the high carbohydrates is coming in. Is we can place it. But just to generalize it that our diets are too much carbohydrates, I don't think is factually accurate.
Please, I wanted you to emphasize a little bit on the exercise or the moving, and then your final word to wrap up the conversation.
Okay, so I mean, we need to move. Our the non-communicable diseases are increasing because of deep structural changes in our lifestyle and our healthcare system. You know, recently our president launched the Mahama Care, and this is a national project that is aimed at ensuring that Ghanaians have access to care when it comes to non-communicable diseases and strategies to ensure that people actually live healthier. But when you look at our working environment these days, you come to work at 8 in the morning. Sometimes you want to beat traffic, you are here by 7. By the time you are leaving, it's maybe like another 7 because you still want to beat traffic. So you spend most of your life here. Then when you get home, you just get knocked down and then you sleep. You wake up early morning, you come to work. And the weekends, you are busy maybe cooking or washing. So between working and the responsibilities that we have at home, you realize that people are not moving because we are in our cars. You know, from where you are staying, you are in your car, you just get down and then you come to work, you get home, you go to the bed. After eating, you go to the bed. We don't have time to be moving as and when. And our roads are also not safe, actually. Yeah. So the burden is not only on we as a citizens, the burden is also on the government because our roads are not safe. They construct roads and then there are no ways for people to walk. Meanwhile, people like me, dietitians, we come and advocate that people should walk. Yes, government is constructing roads. It should be safe enough
for me to walk alongside the vehicles.
Yeah, so I think it's going to be a holistic approach. If it's a reset agenda in the healthcare sector, it's going to be a holistic approach on our parts as individuals, on the parts of institutions such as the healthcare system, for professional bodies such as GANT, for advocacy groups like Send Ghana, and for media media bodies such as Media General. I mean, we all have to come together, including the government, to make this work.
All hands on deck. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mr. Agbagba, for joining us. Julius Evame Agbagba is a dietitian telling us about what we need to look for when we are getting what we need to eat, and also the need for us to exercise more so we're having a complete or a holistic approach to our healthcare. Well, attention all parents of first-year SHS boarding students. EduPark, the Ghana Education Service, approved and supported national SHS initiative implemented by Prospectus Ghana, is now in progress across Ghana. Parents across the country are already registering so that their children's trunk, Macintosh mattress, pillow, and plastic chop box will be ready and waiting at their school before reporting day. Now, do not delay and be caught in the usual last-minute market rush, carrying heavy items under pressure. With EduPark, your child does not need to travel to school with these 4 essential items. To register, simply dial *713*821#, visit any ADB branch, or go to www.eduparkgh.com. Make payment, keep your receipt, and present it on opening day to collect all your child's EduPark items. Your EduPark registration follows you to any SHS you are placed in. Avoid the stress, avoid the rush, prepare with confidence, all at a very affordable price. EduPark, approved and supported by the Ghana Education Service. Now, for more information, you can always call 050-7000-933 or 050-8644-802 or 0302-955-050. EduPark, no stress, no wahala. And if it's your birthday today, we want to help you celebrate your day. I know it's the birthday of the wife of the former Executive Secretary of the NLC. Mr. Asamoah, is the birthday of your wife. Happy birthday to her, and you're sending her all the love. So her name is Mrs. Hefziba Asamoah of Epis Court and Beauty Parlor. A birthday wish from your husband, Honorable Ofusu Asamoah, and children. Happy birthday to you.
All right, yes. Also, happy birthday to Radford Power Jiman. I hope that the team got the photo. This is from Evans. Team, I hope you got it. But let's go through the list for today. and wish a few people a happy birthday. But 5-year-old Radford Apau Ajiman, aka Papa Yao, it's your birthday, and so happy birthday to you. I don't know if that's the son of William Evans Income. I suspect so.
Oh,
I suspect so. But let's.
Well, when I see him, I would know whether it is William's son or not.
Today. Happy birthday, Archibald Oswell Amwakun. God bless you with long life. This is from all your children. Oh, Samuel and Samuela Kwejiri of Solani Montessori School, Bibiani, from Mr. and Mrs. Kwejiri. Happy birthday. Diana Kaki Wede of Takrade, from your husband, Wede. Barnabas Mawina, Chairman of Ghana Electrical Contractors Association. Happy birthday to you. And to Ameble Kwame Jr., 4th National President, Rotation Nurses and Midwives Association. To Iravna Setre of Bank of Ghana.
The Green.
Happy birthday. And Eunice Ampedu Boating, wishing you a wonderful birthday. This is from your family and your friends. And to Uncle Fifi of Atlanta, Georgia, USA, God bless you. New age from your niece Sophia at that day to you. All right, to Abigail Mensah, we wish you peace and love from Chatty and all staff of Koko Bite Health Center. And to Francis Owusu, may God bless you with knowledge and wisdom from the entire family.
Judith Akushika, CEO Shika Gold Ventures from Ideal Ladies. Oh, happy birthday to you. Zara, I pray that the good Lord grant you all your heart desires, from Alvin Nana Jr. Happy birthday to you, Zara. Jade Ravana Yale, from your mom Enyonam Quest. Happy birthday to you, Jade. Ivina Dulate of Ghana Immigration Service, from your sister Enyonam Quest. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. Lodina Nikwe, God richly bless you, from your parents. Mrs. Ziba Asamoah of Epis Court and Beauty Parlor, from your husband and children. I think that's the one I mentioned earlier. Jennifer Na Nkrumah of Forms Capital Limited, from Bra Kweju.
All right, if you're Nyakwa, this is from your parents and the entire family. Hey, if you'll be a diva. Maya Mengeli, may God perfect all your heart desires. Also, happy birthday going out to Inspector Priscilla Kumsin of the National Headquarters Orderly Room, from your husband and staff of the Headquarters Orderly. Stephen Modo of Pacific Oil Ghana Limited, Oyibi Bush Canteen. God bless you. Eugenia Kokomante, you have such a pretty smile.
Yeah.
Happy birthday. To Right Reverend Justice K.A. Datson, we pray for God's blessings upon your life. This from your wife, Mrs. Lily Love Datson, children-in-laws and grandchildren. Happy birthday, sir. To Dr. Bafo Sapon, we wish you a glorious celebration. You are the best for us. God bless you, from your wife and children.
Faustina Araba, I see strength and determination, from Faisal, TV3. Happy birthday to you, Faustina. Harriet Sapon Hetty, District Electoral Officer for Electoral Commission, Setre East, Efidiase Asokore. Happy birthday to you, ma'am. Belinda Ekia Afrakma Papebi. Happy birthday to you, of Pool Hospitality Center, Kaswa, from your daughter, Nanaba. Papa, from your daughter, Eugenia. Ida, Nylander. Okay, CEO of NIS Cake. Cheers to greatness. Oh, from Shadimain, from Shadrach Kabea, producer
She's
here.
been bringing us cakes on the show, I
think.
Yes.
Yes. Ida Nylander.
We didn't know that was your connect.
Yes. CEO of NIS Cake. You heard that. Cheers to greatness from Shadrach. Okay. Lydia Mawusi Klu Duvo. God bless your new age. Cheers to greatness, new beginning and possibilities, from Eli Klim and David. There's one more here from Mensa Majid inside Bechem, Toronto. It says, happy glorious birthday to the hardworking CISO of Achencia Circuit, Madam Rosemary. On this special day, I wish you abundant blessings, good health and prosperity. May your days be filled with joy, success and God's favor.
Oh, there was one on the screen, a young man. Let's do it. Calipson, Ishira Baden Gate of Ringway Estate Preparatory School. You are marked for greatness. We love you from the whole family. And again, to our 5-year-old, okay, Ademaya, you will be great. Amen. This is from Fred. Michaela Yaira Nomenyo, God bless you. This is from Mommy Abby.
I love her princess crown.
Uncles and aunties. Joel Saki 8. Today we're not playing, no. This is from Dad and family. Okay, Joel. And also to Nicholas Sapon of UPSA. Happy birthday to you. Is that it?
From Alfred.
Okay.
Yes.
This is from Alfred.
Yeah.
William, forgive us. So, Tim, you didn't get William's voice picture. Anyway, happy birthday to 5-year-old Radford Appel Ajiman, a.k.a. Papa Yao. He's 5 years today. Happy birthday. Such a cute photo. I wish we had projected it, but anyway. That's it for today. So we're getting ready for World Cup.
And we're starting here at 4:30.
Yes.
PM.
So the next time you see myself, Beatrice, and the rest of the news, I'm coming to you from Philadelphia. Not the church, but the city. Oh, there's a last
Can we capture her with the rapping gestures?
This is an appeal for fans. Thank you for joining us. We'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.